Hello lovelies, welcome to today's video, which is all about burnishing glitter into a gel mani. Oh, look at that, it's just divine. This technique works beautifully on holographic glitters. I hope the camera is picking this up and doing it justice. It just looks amazing. It is beautiful. It's a technique that's been around for a long time. It is by no means new, but I still see people sort of struggle a bit with it, can't get it quite to work each time that they do it. So I've just done a few-minute video on techniques, hints and tips for this, that if you follow each time, basically you are going to get a great result each time. The key thing, or the key couple of things with burnishing glitter into your gel mani is making sure you have a really good inhibition layer that has not been damaged. You haven't accidentally knocked it or touched it or bashed it against something. And also you need a really light touch. This is not something where you need to go in and be heavy-handed. Quite the opposite. You need to be really light-handed when you're doing this technique. And you will get this just amazing look to the glitter. It's ideally it's for holographic glitter. It just brings it out beautifully. If you're worried about it being, a rough surface, don't be. It comes out super smooth. You would not even know that there's glitter on this nail. It just feels like a gel mani. And, there's no added thickness to this nail. I mean, this is a tip, obviously, but, it's no thicker than if I'd done, just a gel polish mani. It's not like thick glitter that, you need to embed in your nail. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. It's not embed. Anyway, it'll come to me. But yes, it's not something that's going to end up thick. You don't need to build a gel layer or anything over the top of it. You can do this with just your gel polish. So that leads us nicely into what you need for this technique. So you will need your base gel of choice, whatever system you're using. This step is optional, but I like to do it. I like to have a color underneath that is a corresponding color to the glitter that I am using. So I've got Purple Hollow here, and this is Blue Skies 80551, which is a lovely purple. It just gives a nice depth of color. It is not, you don't have to do this. You can just use a base coat and put your glitter into your inhibition layer of your base coat. That is going to work beautifully each time as well. I just like to do this. It gives you a bit of extra depth to your color. And also, if you've got any tip wear or something, if you're wearing your mani for 3 or 4 weeks, if any glitter does happen to, get a bit of tip wear, you've got a color underneath which is corresponding. So it's all seamless. You will also need a brush. I personally like a fluffy brush for this, but whichever brush you use, make sure it's not a brush that you use for your other gel polishes that do not have glitter. You will never get all of the glitter out of this brush, no matter how hard you try. So it's always good to have a brush that you use specifically for glitter. You will need that. I use my cuticle pusher just actually as a scoop to scoop my my glitter over the nail. If you don't have one of these, you can use anything. You can use a spoon. I mean, you can just tip the glitter over your nail as well if you want to. Just make sure you've got something underneath it to capture the glitter that doesn't get used. And then you will need a top coat as well. If you are going to be doing this on a natural nail, you won't see me do this today because obviously I'm working on a tip. You will need a Q-tip, as once you've done the glitter into your nail, before you top coat it, just run a Q-tip, a cuticle stick right around your cuticle area and your side walls, just to remove that before you do any top coat. But you won't see me do that today because I'm working on a tip. Anyway, I just wanted to share this with you because I did this the other day and it just reminded me of just how much I love the look of burnished holographic glitter. So enjoy! Okay, so to start with, we are going to go in with our color. I've just got a color pop here. Now, if you're doing this on your natural nails, you would need to go in with a base coat. I don't need to because I've buffed the top coat of this, but yes, natural nails, definitely go in with your base coat first. Cure that for however long your base coat needs to cure, and then you can come in with this optional step, which I just like to do. As I said, I think it just gives you a nice bit of depth to your color. But just remember that whatever polish you use, whether it's base coat or if you go with the color, you need to make sure that you end up with a good inhibition or tacky layer once that has cured. So I'm going to pop that in my lamp. for 30 seconds. This is actually quite a translucent colour, so I am actually going to do a second coat of this one. You don't always have to, but I am going to. If you have a colour that doesn't have an inhibition layer, some don't. Some are, you know, 2-in-1 base and colour, or, you know, colour and top coat, what have you. Anyway, if there's no tacky layer, then don't worry, you can still use that colour. Just make sure that you buff it very lightly with something like this. This is one of my NSI buffers. As you can see, it's quite well loved, but you just need to fine, very lightly buff it. You don't want to go to town with it, and you certainly don't want to use a file. So you just want to very lightly buff it so you get a bit of roughness to the colour, and then you can apply a layer of base coat over the top of that, and that will give you your inhibition layer. So if the ultimate colour of your choice does not have an inhibition layer, then just pop a layer of base coat over the top of it. Okay, so there is our second coat. As you can see, I did cap the free edge just then. And, you know, it doesn't need to be perfect because it's just a basis for our glitter. So I'm going to pop that in the lamp for its cure time. And in the meantime, I am going to get my glitter ready. So we're going to be using this one today, which is a beautiful purple holographic. This method, honestly, it just brings this glitter to life. It is just amazing. So I've got my little scoop here. As I said, you can use anything that's going to give you a bit of, you know, so you can pick up the product and tip it. So to me, there are like 3 core steps that you need in order to have a successful burnishing of the glitter every time you do it. It's pretty much foolproof. It's not one of those methods that you can cut corners and skip a step. You know, some sort of forms of nail art you can, you know, combine a couple of steps or take a bit of a shortcut. This is not one of those. I don't recommend that you do that because you'll just end up ruining your inhibition layer. And then it's, you know, if you do, it's fine. It is salvageable, but it's just going to give you extra steps that you probably didn't need to do otherwise. So come in with your scoop. If you just have a small tub of glitter, then you can just tip that over the nail. Just make sure you've got something to capture your glitter with underneath. And all I'm doing is I'm picking up the glitter with the scoop and I'm just tipping it onto the nail and very lightly tapping it to remove some of that excess. I am not touching the nail. I'm not even getting close enough to it to accidentally knock it. One of the biggest, you know, causes of it or issues with burnishing is when you damage that inhibition layer. And if you do it like this, if you tip your glitter from a decent height, you're not going to accidentally knock your inhibition layer. So we've got our glitter over the top. We are going to come in with our brush. This is our second step. So first of all, we've scooped the glitter on top. We have not touched our nail at this point. We are going to come in with our fluffy brush and we are going to press that glitter into that inhibition layer. I am not rubbing, I am not dragging, I am literally press, lift, and I'm just doing that all over the nail. And you'll start to see the glitter looks slightly different. It starts to lay a little bit flat because it's sinking in to that inhibition layer. And once you've covered the nail and you're happy that you've touched every surface of the nail, you can move your glitter aside, and this is when we come in with our burnishing. So this is the third step, and this is when you just want to lightly brush the nail down. You want to brush it in each different direction. Basically what you're doing is you are flattening that glitter. So it lays absolutely dead flat against the nail, and you can see what that is doing to that hollow. It's just magic. Oh, it's divine. So take away the excess glitter. I have a very light hand doing this. I am not applying anything in the way of pressure. I'm just very lightly stroking the nail and flattening that glitter down. Okay, so there is our 3 steps with the glitter itself. We've scooped it on, we've pressed it in, and now we have burnished it. Now here's another little tricky bit for you. I come in with another layer of base coat. There's a few things this is going to do for you, one of which it's going to give you an additional inhibition layer. So if you've got a little bit carried away and you got a little bit heavy-handed, or you did damage your inhibition layer, this is going to give you a second chance to fix that. So you can cure your base coat and then you can do another burnishing layer on top. You might choose to do that anyway, just to give you extra depth of color. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It enables you to do that. It also enables you to apply some extra nail art over the top of this. You might decide to place some crystals on this nail. You might decide to do some nail stamping or place a water decal or something like that. If you've given yourself an additional layer of base coat, then you've got another layer to play with where you're not in any risk of damaging your glitter. So with this layer, you actually want to float this on. You do not want to drag your base coat down your nail. This is not the time to be scrubbing in your base coat. This is a time to be generous with your base coat and very lightly float it down the nail. Okay, so go back in and grab a bit more if you're worried. You want to make sure that you cover every part of this nail. And as you can see, my brush is not exactly splaying out too much. I'm very lightly floating this base coat down the nail, and you definitely want to cap the free edge when you are doing this as well. Okay, oh, look at that shine. Oh, I just love it. Okay, and in the lab for the cure time for your base coat. And as I said, once that comes out, if you want to apply water decal or stamping, you can remove the inhibition layer from your base coat. If you want to apply crystals, then you can apply crystals. You can do what you like. But you've given yourself an additional layer of protection for your glitter. And it also means that, as you're wearing your mani, if you've got 2, 3, 4 weeks out of it, as you start to get that tip where it's, you've got an extra layer of protection there before that happens. I'm not going to apply any crystals or any additional nail art today because I just wanted to show you this burnishing technique. And then you want to come in with your top coat and just top coat it. If you don't have a base coat that you wanted to place over the top of this, you could of course use a top coat, but you would need one that has a tacky layer. That's all. So don't use, whereas this one I've got here is a no white top coat. You'll want one that has a tacky layer to it so that you can apply a layer of top coat over the top of it. So that's basically it. They are my main tips for burnishing your glitter. And to be honest, if you follow those steps each time, it's fairly foolproof. Don't try and cut corners. I have seen, you can apply your glitter, press in, and burnish at the time you're pressing in. You can do that, but, you're more likely to damage the inhibition layer than if you scoop it on, press it in, and then burnish it. And, really, you're talking about an extra few seconds to do those steps individually. I mean, this has taken a few minutes because I'm explaining what I'm doing as I'm going. But if you're doing this on yourself, it really is one of the quickest forms of nail art that you can do, and it is just beautiful. Oh, that shimmer is just divine. I just love it. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful as always, and I hope you are well, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.